to a six in 1991. As I progressed in the coaching ranks in the NFL, in 1994, I had the opportunity to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I worked there for 29 years. In 2008, I was promoted to the assistant head coach. At that particular time, I had the big corner office. My office was bigger than the head coach. I had an expense account. I had my own secretary. At that particular time, my salary went through the roof. I made more money than I ever dreamed I would make. I'll put it this way. I made more money than I could spend. And I was a little embarrassed that time when I took my check to the bank because I had so many zeros on it, I couldn't count. Okay, so when you can live off one paycheck for almost 6 or 7 months, I made a lot of money. The thing that I want to impress on you, make up your mind early what you want to be in life.
Yes.
Work hard at it. My success was that every day that I went to the office, I wanted to be the best in the office. I didn't want nobody to outwork me. I didn't want anybody to have more success than I had. I got there early. I stayed late. I did everything I could to show the owners, the head coach, that they didn't make a mistake naming me an assistant head coach there. The most important thing for young kids in your age right now is to be disciplined and work hard. There's going to be bumps in the road for you. But if you let those bumps in the road stop you from being what you want to be or achieving whatever goal you won't make it. Okay, how many people know who Winston Churchill was? Okay, Winston Churchill was the prime minister of Great Britain, a great man. And he's one of my favorite people that I read about, I study about. I'm a big Churchill fan. And let me tell you a little story. Churchill was really old at this time. He was invited to speak at a commencement at the University of Toronto. He was in his twilight years, an old guy. He got up and went to the podium and gave the shortest speech that was ever given by Churchill. If you knew Churchill, he was long-winded. He said 6 words, only 6 words, and he got a standing ovation for those 6 words. You want to know what those 6 words are? Those 6 words was this: never, 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 never quit. Don't ever quit, because you never know how successful you could be. Dreams are not made overnight. You can hear the thing, hey, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon where you want to go. You're not going to get where you want to go overnight. You got to work at it. But if you never quit, you'll have a chance to be there. In my success for being a coach, I met a lot of people. I met 4 presidents. A little black kid growing up in Mobile to meet 4 presidents, unheard of. I met movie stars. I met singers, actors. Hey, I hung out with Diana Ross. I hung out with the Four Tops. I've hung out with the Temptations. I've hung out with Snoop Dogg. I can go on and on. Hung out with Vanessa Williams, who was the first big black Miss America. Whatever you want in life, if you don't quit, you can achieve it.
Amen. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Coach. I'm just listening to these testimonies, and as I look at them, it just comes to me that how fortunate we are to be able to sit and listen to what folks have done and why they have done what they have done. And I was saying, boy, I wish I had that when I was at Riley Elementary School. They didn't have that. We had other folk that, our teachers, of course, were in love with us. You know, they were just like parents to us. So we did get some of that. But you guys, I see, are very attentive and are listening. And I know that you will take this and use it to your advantage. I'm gonna take a few minutes and introduce. Yeah, no, introduce something. I get it. Introduce. You know. Today. Oh, okay. Introduce. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. Dr. Robinson. We'd like you to just take a few minutes just to introduce yourself to the class.
All right. Oh, okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Huntley, and all of my friends that we've had a chance to meet and get to know each other over this past year. I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia. How many of you have heard of Chesapeake, Virginia? Okay. It's a nice place. It's not too far from Virginia Beach. And I have been here for approximately 20 years now. And I never dreamed that this is where I would end up. This would be my home. I'm from Roosevelt. Have you heard of Roosevelt? Okay, that's in Bessemer, Alabama. And I attended Roosevelt Elementary. I became a member of First Baptist Church Roosevelt. That was where I was baptized. And so I know a lot about that community as it existed when I grew up. And there's love in my heart for what happened to me and to many others who lived in Roosevelt. I graduated from Winona High School and had a chance to go to Tuskegee Institute. And so that's where I received my bachelor's degree and met the love of my life, Barbara Jean Lee, who incidentally was introduced to me by Barbara Young Huntley, who is the wife of Dr. Horace Huntley. So we go way back. We have a lot that we can talk about. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity one day to chat with you and other members of our group about things that happened in my life, moments. We may think of those as sacred moments that occurred in my life that launched me to where I am today. I think I better stop right here because sometimes I have a tendency to do more than teach, and we'll just wait for another time. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to chat with you, and I'm looking forward to us being able to connect.
Thank you, Brother Elanius Lafayette Robinson from Roosevelt, Alabama, which was in Bessemer at the time that we were growing up, but it is in Birmingham now.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I will take a few minutes. I'm Dr. Horace Huntley, and I introduced myself last week. Today, what I want to do, I've written a little book about some of it about my growing up, and I want to talk with you today about that. How many of you have ever had an encounter with a bully? How many of you have had an encounter with a bully? Has anybody ever tried to bully you, or you were a bully? Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, that's bully. I had that experience in my life. And I'm gonna share with you what I did. I actually wrote a little piece on my being bullied and why I was being bullied and when. So I'm gonna share that with you. I'm gonna read this little piece to you. And it's entitled The Third Grade Fight. This is a copy of my book that's the cover of the book. And it's actually dedicated to my wife. And my wife and I have been married for 61 years.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me get to reading. Okay, it's called The Third Grade Fight. My elementary school was the Riley Negro School in Riley Station, Birmingham, Alabama. I would usually arrive at school around 7:45 a.m. All the students lined up in the back of the school, in the playground, before marching into the classroom. We said the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer before entering the building. Before 10 o'clock, we usually studied 2 subjects. And prior to going outside to recess was our favorite subject. We were always excited about getting outside to play. Miss Brown was our 3rd grade teacher. All of the boys had a crush on her. She was young, pretty, and usually very nice to us. It was understood that the boys would rush to one part of the playground and the girls another. Racing and playing ball were common activities. The boys also shot marbles. Y'all know how to shoot marbles?
Oh,
Never
No.
shoot marbles, okay?
oh, yeah. They don't know about you.
They don't, okay, well, that's something that I'll talk about later on if you'd like. I remember one particular day on the playground shooting marbles. Some of my friends, with John Luke, John Henry Harris, Africa Trail, Ernest Hooks, all of us had nicknames such as Buster, Wimp, Bubba, Papa, Matt. And James Hunt was the smallest in the class, and we called him Tender. We called him Tender because his little hands were so tough. They're just like patent leather. But he was the bully in the class. He was the smallest one in the class, but he was tough. Although Tender was the smallest in the class, he was tough and a bully. I was usually not the best marble shooter, but that morning, I actually won. I won everybody's marbles. So after we won the marbles, Tender came up to me and said, "Give my marbles back." And I couldn't give them back to him. All the fellas were around. You know, you can't,
Can't be a wimp.
yeah, there you go. That's what I mean. Couldn't be a whip at that time. Although I had won the marbles, and he approached me and demanded his marbles back. And I was bigger than Tender, but he had a reputation. And I was scared of him. But I needed to save face, and I refused to return his marbles. All my buddies were witnessing what was going on, so I couldn't give the marbles back. So Tender said to me, if I didn't give him those marbles back before 3 o'clock, he was gonna beat me up. So I suffered all day, thinking about this whooping that I'm gonna get from Tender. The word circulated throughout the school, and by 3 o'clock, everyone was anxious to witness the fight. The crowd was gathering outside. I thought that I would delay that exit from the building. Everybody would leave and I would not have to fight Tender. Well, my hesitation seemed to have simply enlarged the crowd. Everybody, the whole school was waiting on me when I came out. Tender was waiting. He immediately got in my face and demanded I give him his marbles back. I refused and walked on. He followed and started pushing me and getting loud about the marbles. I continued to timidly deny him satisfaction of his request. As we walked down the street, the crowd surrounded us and encouraged Tender to take the marbles. Others discouraged me from giving in to the demands. We had walked 3 blocks with the crowd waiting to see a good fight. We were a half block from a ditch that we had to cross in getting home. Tender told me if I didn't give him the marbles before we got to the ditch, he was gonna throw me in the ditch. Now, Tender was about right here on me. And I'm scared of him. And I'm bigger than Tender. So somebody said, here come Miss Davis. Miss Davis was the principal of the school. And nobody wanted Miss Davis to get on your back. So I turned around to see if Miss Davis was coming. As I turned around, Tender hit me in my jaw. And I think he knocked me crazy. I grabbed him and threw him down, and I started punching on him. And Tender bit me on my hip. I still had that bite on it. But anyway, we wrestled and fought, and I whooped Tender that day, and we got up. And I walked on away. Tender didn't say anything. So we became best friends. Tender was my best.
Happy ever
that
after.
time. So that is the way that, well, it's not necessarily the way that you take care of bullies, but that was the way that I took care of the bully that time, and it worked for me. Thank you. 2 minutes right on the spot.
Oh, Miss Patty.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
Before y'all leave, attention please,
Quiet. Kristen.
attention. Next week is the 4th of July. We won't be here. You all won't be here. I think you had 2 off days, Juneteenth and the 4th of July. We'll be back on the, somebody help me with it. That's the.
2 weeks
Don't
from
let it
today.
be that following Thursday. Wednesday, that following Wednesday, which is the 2nd. We'll be back that following. How many days?
2 weeks from, 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, we will be back.
Right.
In the meantime, got homework for you. I want you to do something for me. I want you to, look up slavery. Look up slavery and the history of slavery. And I thank the staff for helping y'all to do that. So y'all can help them with it. Look up the definition of slavery. We're gonna deal with that somewhat next time we meet. Want y'all to have a good holiday. Be safe. Be safe. We love y'all. What y'all got what do you have for lunch for y'all?
Pizza.
Oh, they gotta go. They ready to go get pizza. Yes, yes.
I'm starving, what is it?
One lady.
I got a question for Mr. Dawkins for next week. How old were you start coaching football?
I was 20.
20. 20 when he started coaching football. 20.
You had one in the back.
I asked him, maybe, what?
Well, you all, I think you better take them out now.
Sorry.
It's your homeroom?
No, we gotta leave.
Oh, we had to leave, though.
What is Tinder like now?
Yeah, what is Tinder like?
Tender is deceased.
Oh.
Tender died about 10 years ago. But we were good friends, and Tender was a small guy. But Tender actually, after we finished high school, Tender grew, and he ended up about 6'1", he was taller than I was.
Before we leave, let me share something with you all. I hope y'all can pick up on this. Anybody who know what brainwashing is?
Brainwashing.
Propaganda, lies. When Brother Harris was talking and Coach was talking, if you picked up on one thing, you picked up on this divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That has been something that this society has been using, and that's what governments have been using since they started government. You divide people, then you can conquer people. When you have the way they divided slaves, Dr. Huntley wrote a lot on that. But the way they use slavery, have you ever heard of house niggas? You ever heard that term? How about field niggas? That's how they divided us. You had certain slaves worked in the field. They were called field niggas. Certain worked in the house. Let me show you how they divided people. I'm gonna give you a good example of it. How many heard of the Apache Indians? How many heard of Geronimo? Nobody heard of Geronimo or the Apaches. In the 1870s in the United States, one tribe of Indians that the United States military could not beat. They were their Apaches. They couldn't do nothing with it. How many heard of Buffalo Soldiers?
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo Soldiers were black soldiers after the Civil War. They sent them out. They fought the Apaches. They couldn't do nothing with it. Do you know how they conquered the Apaches? Anybody know? They conquered Apaches with Apaches. They went to a tribe, Apaches, hired them as scouts. They knew how to catch their own folks. Now they put them on uniforms and they had them. That's the only way the United States military beat the Apache Indians with Apache Indians. But let me show you what they did with the Apaches after they did that. After Geronimo surrendered, they sent them all, they gathered all of them up, even the scouts, and sent them to Florida. You don't have a win. Most people, especially black folks, think I can get close to Trump and they ain't gonna do nothing to me. No. People sitting around watching these people take all the Mexicans and sending them back. It ain't gonna happen to me. Yes, it will, and yes, it can. So that's one of the reasons why we ain't talking to y'all today. We on y'all time, and I just wanted to share that with you. I want you to keep in mind, you're old enough, you're wise enough to understand what's going on. And you need to see that. We'd like to thank our presenters today. And our ladies, we got some more ladies. Thank Miss Rose May. She didn't introduce herself. Rose.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Rose May. I apologize for not being able to be there with you today, but I'll be there next time. I'm a former teacher in the Birmingham City Schools. I'm originally from Montgomery, Alabama, lived in Tuskegee, attended Tuskegee Institute at the time. And I'll have something to share with you during the next time we meet. Thank you.
We're 11:50. We're gonna leave you all enjoy your pizza. I know you're ready, ain't you?
I'm gonna, you guys out next week.
Let's confirm July.
Just for the full, but you'll be on next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so they'll be here next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be here. I didn't know that. I thought you'd be like us.
Yes, ma'am.
They treated like.
Well, we'll be back next Wednesday. Sorry about that.
Say again.
You all.
My grandkids, one of them name.
Peters, one of you all go around and hash out.
Staff.
His name Brian. His name Brian. And grandkids.
Yes, you all can bring your candy, but you eat it at lunch, not open it before. Back to the run.
Let me go around.
I graduated. Graduated from Tennessee State University in 2021. Yes, I'm a school teacher. I have since.
My sister had a math there and I was like.
Yes, I got my master's. Yeah, I got my master's. My husband, he graduated from Tennessee State, yes, ma'am. Bought a home.
Alright.
It's a group of girls, like, we just talked I'm more of a.
Alexis Sims.
Alexis Sims.
Rick Sims' daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sent the, notice on that. Yeah. Hey, Ray. Hey, I see you in a couple hours. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know that. See you on the screen, then, if you want.
Well, yeah, but, yeah. Last trip, 2 years after graduating from TSU. So I'm originally from Memphis, my husband was from Birmingham, and we moved down here. Okay.
You got three. You got 3 o'clock meeting. Review.
You don't know. I just never feel. If the degrees are this, both of my degrees are this. I was like, I wanna do something different. I was like, teachers, I love it. What you say?
And then she got her. Math and education, you know, other than. I'm learning. I'm clear.
Noise.
I got it now.
Doctor stop talking, seems to be ready to go to lunch.
But.
And stop moving.
She said, what's wrong? I found. And from. People now. Yeah, she's 50 years old.
Still have to come back.
That's what she wants to do in business. She said, she's also.
First thing you
Needed that young. It's great for she. On track. That's what you say.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And so. She said.
And I was still.
You said they already.
She just said that she. Girls doing like. We said it here. What I'm saying.
Well, she was school teacher.
Two minutes, I never see that no more. Circle that they did. She got different.
They just got.
They said they are. They want to.
They were there.
Then they can see what you do.
About 20 years now.
In other words, if they want speakers.
He's.
I mean, it's a different thing, cause the signals are there. Don't. But if we got some people, that way we can figure this thing. I got to make them connect. We got to do.
Good and bad. You know what I'm saying? You got two real smart people.
Oh, yeah,
Then the kids, the kids,
and we ready.
one.
And they better say, they pay the.
It's not looking at us.
Yeah, that's it. And I've been taking up years. I got a little.
That's scary.
Those guys are out. I got out.
He's real quiet, attentive
But
to
he did.
everything he said. He gonna say it back to you from.
Come back.
Yes, let me go right now.
Okay.
Like I just how I was.
He's
I was scared.
he's older than these kids.
You know what, it's,
You know, do good.